Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 156 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of June 1st through the 7th, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Ray Morgan.
And I'm Leah Metz.
And we are opening the recipe box. Yeah. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town at my house, but we are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern, located 408 West 4th Street, and she says she will open the Wednesday after they're allowed to open. So if it comes on a weekend, because who knows right now, it passed both houses of Congress here for the NCGA, but Cooper said he's going to veto it, and don't know what the status is right now. But anyway, 408 West 4th Street is where Bull's Tavern is, and thanks to them for sponsoring this Zoom call. To all my readers and listeners, if you just play the podcast from the website or whatever, last week I encountered the final straw of my GoDaddy nightmare of web hosting. On Tuesday, when I was doing my post to highlight the additional happenings that we had been talking about, the site went down. It hit a snag and even logged me out of WordPress. And when I checked in with GoDaddy, they didn't have an answer for the first bit. I have 3 other hosting plans for all the other probably 10 websites that I have with one other hosting platform. It's more stable and does better. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and decided to start another hosting plan with them, and proceeded to initiate the migration from GoDaddy's awful hosting plan to the place that I do. I knew that the site wasn't secure because they wanted to charge me for it. It says it on there, and our friend Candy has said, your site's not secure. I understand this, but they wanted to charge me for the SSL certification, and it's included in all the packages that I'm on the other hosting plan. So whenever I was talking to GoDaddy, they said, well, we can help you with that. We can set that up for you. I said, I'm not paying you anything, because here's the thing I want you to know is my site will be off your server within 24 hours. And they're like, I said, yeah, you guys suck. So usually I don't say stuff like that in a review, but they are awful as far as hosting goes. So of all sites that I manage, this is the only one that ever went down. It's the only one that gave me any trouble. It's the only one that I bought on a whim, and I rectified it. So that being said, I apologize to all you who went to read anything or look at the list last Tuesday through Wednesday morning and couldn't get the page to work. I had a couple of people contact me, hey, I can't find it. And right after I posted the video that we're going to talk about here in a second, people started telling me, we can't see it. We can't see it. So I just had to start forwarding them to Mary's page. But I'm still working on the theme configuration, but that's all the info that you need is there. So again, apologies to everybody who was inconvenienced for GoDaddy being horrible as hosting platform. Now, that brings me to probably the biggest news this week is that our beloved Mary's Gourmet Diner has closed permanently. Mary Haglund has been doing these Voices of Winston videos where she has interviewed local business owners to talk about their stores, their plights, their trials and tribulations, if you will. On Tuesday, she did her own interview and announced that she and Michael Milan, whom she is partnered with in the restaurant, had decided to not open their doors back up following the pandemic. She said that she never meant for her food to be takeout. It's meant to eat whenever it's done. Breakfast food, to me, most of the time is like that. It's not a, let's fix it and take it somewhere 20 minutes away. It goes cold really fast. So she never meant that. She didn't want to be a grocery store. I mean, some places commendably have converted themselves into grocery stores during this because they had inventory to get rid of and people needed stuff. So being that she didn't want it to be either one of those things, she talked about the things that she had done in the restaurant and the amazing people she's worked with and served food to, and just decided that she didn't want it to become something else. And the thing is here, while that is crazy sad, I think it's good that she's going to go out on top. Like she said, everyone else is having to adapt their business, and she doesn't want to do that. The restaurant won't be anything she didn't want it to be. She got to make the choice, and it wasn't necessarily forced upon her other than the circumstance itself. She'll still be a major factor in Winston and in the food scene, I'm sure. Just it won't be Mary's. Michael also owns Mojito Mobile Kitchen and has already started operating the truck again. So I would say just keep an eye on Mary's Facebook and Instagram. You never know what she'll get into. But I did see this morning that she is auctioning off art pieces from inside the restaurant. And at least for now, the proceeds from the auction will go to La Botana. So she is a huge fan of La Botana, and the proceeds will go to help them pay rent and things like that.
Yeah, I saw one of the pieces went to Carrabba's.
Yes,
Daniel got it.
Yeah, Daniel got the what did he get? I forgot, but I saw it.
It's like
it
the
was
welcome sign or something.
Yeah.
Hello,
please
Kitty.
Please wait to be seated. Yeah.
Well, and it's, it's sad that she's closing, and at the same point in time, you have to stand for something, right? And so if that's how your business is, then that's okay. Like, you need to do what's best for you and your business, and that's important. And a wise mentor once told me, don't wait to be either shut down or fired or let go. Like, take control and recognize when it's time to go.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing that you can ever do, is recognize, okay, the time's here and now we have to do this. And yeah, selfishly, I will miss the biscuits, but at the same point in time, kudos to her for recognizing that it was time and it was important to her to stand on what she had built and do that. So
yeah, the video that she posted was just spectacular. Not from a special effects or anything, just her message. And I'm grieving with a lot of folks that we're losing such an amazing, iconic place in Winston-Salem. I hope somebody else can tap into the same kind of spirit that she had in the restaurant.
Or at least comparable. I don't know that they could match it, but I hope it's something that's comparable.
Yeah. And just to think how many lives she has touched and changed in Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's an amazing woman. And it's sad that the restaurant's closing, but I didn't see a whole lot of sadness in her message. I think there was still a lot of hope and still lifting up the community.
Well, the fact that she only teared up, at least visibly to us, once when she was still pouring her heart into the message was something. It was something to behold, because, inside, while it was probably crushing her, she's probably got a lot of weight off her shoulder. And that's an emotional thing. And, she was talking about having to take care of her, very elderly mother and the other things, and her grandchildren. And, I follow two of her daughters on Instagram, and I see those grandkids, even the older ones, they're just around, and grandma, or Mary, as they call her, have to, take care of it. But I'm proud of everything that she's done and become. And I commend her for going out on her terms and not having to do it because people forced her out, and not doing it because it was something she didn't want it to be. And it was her decision, her and Michael. I mean, they had to discuss it, but it's the namesake, and again, kudos to her for that.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of Mary Haglund either.
Oh, no.
She's going to pop back up somewhere.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see what it is.
Yeah, me too.
The Porch had a pretty significant hiccup in its reopening this past week. They posted on their social media that one of the employees had woken up overnight with symptoms, went to the hospital, and tested positive for COVID-19. Since they had worked the whole shift on Wednesday, Claire had no choice, had no choice to close and do a major cleaning and quarantine the employees at both the Porch and Alma Mexicana. All the posts said basically was weeks, but their staff will be paid, so that's good. It's still sad that this happened. It should be noted, too, that the CDC and Health Department guidelines do not mandate that this happen. That's their decision out of an abundance of caution. So I know they just got everything rolling again and now are back down. But as Claire says, I don't care what it costs my business. People's safety's number one and priority. And, you can't blame her for that.
No. And what a leadership role that she just took, and to just step up like that. Honestly, maybe she could give some lessons to some folks in government about how to just own up to what's going on and just state it. Hey, this happened, and this is exactly what we're going to do to rectify the situation. We hate being closed, but y'all are more important than the money. So we'll get this all straightened out, and then we'll let you come back in. I applaud the way she handled it. I really do.
Yeah.
And it should give notice to those folks who don't feel like this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Recognize that though you don't know that you have it, and a day or two later you wake up and sick, and here's how it impacts all of us.
Yeah, they said she had no symptoms, or the person had no symptoms up into they had gone and done their thing all that day, and then woke up in the middle of the night sick, went to the hospital, and you got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it should remind all of us to take necessary precautions, and that if you are sick, when you discover that, to do the right thing as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Last Monday after the podcast, and as Ray was getting showered with chocolates and coffee, I hear that was fun, by the way.
Oh my gosh. I was not prepared. I had no idea. I did not know that you had also been part of the conspiracy with my wife to get me available by 1 o'clock when people started showing up
and
at the house.
Yeah, she had said they're going to come by at 1. Do you think you'll be done? I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure we can. And if Ray needs to go, I mean, if he sees people coming and needs to go, but I was done with everything early that morning, and because we didn't do anything, it was a holiday, so that's why I asked, you guys want to do earlier? That way we didn't have to worry about holding you up.
Yeah.
How was
and
the
I
cake?
Didn't know that she'd done all that in the background.
Yeah. How was the cake?
Oh my gosh. Actually, you were talking about the Culinary Institute coming up with Providence. It's like, I probably need to have a conversation with you about that, because my daughter made a chocolate cake from scratch with a chocolate espresso ganache icing. Oh, yeah. It was every bit as good as it sounds. In fact, I finished the last slice of it last night. Oh my gosh. It's not going to be the COVID-19 pounds. It's going to be the COVID-50 the way this is going with cake like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I'm not kidding. They probably brought a good 15 to 20 pounds of chocolate. I mean, my pantry is filled up with sweets. I'm covered for, at least another 3 or 4 days.
And the cake was Dark Side of the Moon, right?
Yes. One of my favorite albums. She did, of course, the dark chocolate ganache espresso is going to have an almost black quality anyway.
Yeah.
But then, she did the whole prism and rainbow in icing on top of the cake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it the
It
night
was
before.
really cool.
Whitney had sent me a picture of the cake, and the
I
picture
got to
of
see it day of.
the picture of the sign that basically threatened your life if you came in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to be secretive and sneaky when you're all living in the same house.
Yeah.
Kudos, she pulled it off. I had no idea until it all just happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a spectacular day that was.
Well, we're glad that we could accommodate the parade of people that were bringing you gifts.
It was. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's funny because she told him he loves coffee and chocolate. So anything in that area, they ignored the coffee. It was all chocolate.
And you got the double chocolate stout from Young's too, right?
Oh, yes.
That was my
I'm
recommendation.
saving those. Those are being saved.
Yeah.
I've still got some beer in the fridge. It's like, let me finish up that.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to have a special time for my Young's double chocolate stout.
Yes.
I'm like, that's going to be good stuff.
Yeah. She said, "What should I get?" I said, "Well, there's Young's double chocolate." And she goes, "Okay." And then she wrote me back saying I was the bomb for the recommendation. I said, "No, he'll love it."
Oh, I am very much looking forward to it.
Well, as all that was going on last Monday, Stephanie and I went to see Daniel at Carrabba's. He's done some work in there, as I had mentioned. The wood had some of those, I think, antiquated posts that were separating like the booths. They weren't needed, and he knew that. And probably whenever they built the thing 20 years ago, they knew that too. But it was... he just wanted us to see what was going on. And while we were there, he says, "I know you guys live and die by eating in restaurants, and you don't get to right now because, I'm high risk." He says, "But I'm going to give that to you now." So he had us sit down, and I had the, what is it called? The Johnny, whenever it's the filet and the chicken brine together. Yeah. And Stephanie had what did you have? Oh, the scallops and shrimp, I can't even, Spadino di Mare. That's what it was. And we also had a bottle of wine sitting in the restaurant. So we actually got to eat in a restaurant without worrying about other people. So that was really good. Thank you, Daniel, for everything that you do. Everything. Burke Street Pizza announced that because of the rising cost of roast beef, that they will no longer be offering the Burke Street Bomber. I had never had one, but it sounds amazing. And the sad part for me, though, is this is the end of the stay-at-home menu that had some of those Buzzy's menu items that was really, I knew that it wasn't going to last forever, but I hate to see it go. I hope that like the beef on weck and a couple other things actually make it onto their regular menu. I think they would do okay. There are other things that have happened. We invite you to visit the new old website to see things that have been posted, and of course find the status of all your favorite WSNC restaurants by visiting WinstonSalemStrong.com or themanwhoatethetown.com. And if you go to Winston-Salem Strong and you can't figure out how to get to the list, just click on my face, because that's how you get. Yeah, that's how you get to the food.
Touch my face. Don't touch my face.
One other thing before I move to Leah here. Elizabeth's Pizza on Silence Creek and Jimmy the Greek are both open now for dine-in. Jimmy the Greek finally posted after 2 months, and Elizabeth's has been putting it off until they made sure everything was right, and they felt that it was right and have opened. So, Leah, have I missed anything, or do you have anything more to add?
No, just my big thing is check the lists. Like if you want to go dine in, because in the past 7 days, the amount of places that have put dine in, and it's amazing. Like just this morning and last week, just checking them, there are so many. So if you want to go sit in a place, check the list, click over to their Facebook page. A lot of them are posting what they're doing, whether you can sit outside or inside, and then just giving you the basic rules on waiting outside the door till they come get you, and staying seated at your table, and those types of things. So look before you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And every one of our restaurants that we have listed, of the 321 of them, have their Facebook page that you can click on it and go to the Facebook page so you can see, because they will post, if they are active posting, they will tell you what those rules are. Just as of this morning, as of right now, this is the 1st of June, have 321 restaurants on the list. 128 offer delivery of some sort. 127 of them have curbside. 251 are still doing takeout no matter what their other status, and 106 are doing dine-in. Only 45 are closed.
That's good.
We had one reverse and go back to closed, but still doing delivery. And then, of course, the Porch and Alma, I have taken the dine-in off of them. I don't know that I put it as closed, but I do have, if I have notes, because real estate is prime on my part of the list, because it's meant to be looked at cell phones. I will tell you any information you need to know, like the 2-week quarantine for Alma and the Porch is in the where the name is, so it's in the link. So yeah, just keep an eye on that list to find out things that are going on.
Yeah, I got a text just a little while ago. I'm officially jealous. My wife and my daughter are having lunch. Where?
Yamas. I know the rareback is a Yamas rareback.
Yamas. Yeah.
Thinkers.
So have you taken a picture
I might
yet?
go there.
You might go there when? Today?
Yes, I got, because Mel went to work and she took the leftovers, so I have to go out, or I mean, there's nothing in the house to eat. Nothing. It's barren up there.
Well, it's Monday, and I didn't go last Monday to Zesto, so I might run up there today whenever I'm done here. I don't know yet. We'll see. But let's do some food holidays in history. Today is the 1st of June, and it is World Milk Day, that you can dip a lot of that chocolate into, Ray.
Got milk?
If you don't, you should.
Got milk and cookies and chocolate?
It's also National Olive Day. Olives are one of those polarizing foods. A lot of people either hate them or love them. You're not okay with them. And I love them. I like we're a household divided. My wife loves olives, and I'm like, I don't need that. Yeah. How about you, Leah?
Like some green olives, especially if they have the garlic clove in them, or if they're swirling in a drink. That's always a good olive in my book.
Stuffed with blue cheese. Do you like it when they're stuffed with blue cheese?
No, I don't like blue cheese.
You
Ooh.
stole my heart. It's also
Sorry.
it's all right. It's all right. It's also National Hazelnut Cake Day.
Oh.
So I don't know that I've
Hazelnut
ever had a hazelnut cake.
Is
I
that
have not
like-
either.
On the 1st in 1495, the first written mention of Scotch whiskey is in the Exchequer, Exchequer Rolls of Scotland. Exchequer Rolls of Scotland. A friar named John Core was the distiller. I don't know if it had any name or if it was just there. I am a huge fan of Scotch whiskey, so and all different kinds of Scotch whiskey, so I am happy with that one. On the 1st in
That's a good
1870,
one.
which what?
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, 1875, A.P. Ashburn received a patent for the process of preparing coconut for domestic use.
Hmm.
I didn't know you could
Interesting.
domesticate a coconut.
Give me your,
Here,
give me your
here,
coconut.
coconut. Here,
Here you go.
Yeah, roll over, coconut. Stay. I guess we gotta give a. That was a real quick one.
Yeah. You got to watch out, or they'll just get shredded.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're here all week. Try the fish. In 1908, on the 1st, John Crone walked over 9,000 miles around the perimeter of the United States with his wheelbarrow. He completed the walk in 357 days, resting on Sundays. And
Wow.
so that we know, in 1908, that included all the contiguous states except for Arizona and New Mexico, but they were territories. So that's the perimeter of the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the next word I had typed here. Wow.
Wow.
In
That's a lot of walking.
It is. That is. Better him than me. And I just felt like running. In
Well,
19,
and what year was that again?
1908.
Well, how does he know that he didn't walk more? I mean, it's not like he had GPS or
Right.
anything to say.
I don't know. I really don't know.
And he could not have walked through Winston-Salem.
That's true. It didn't happen until 1913. Yeah.
He could have walked through Winston or through Salem.
Or Winston and
Not
Salem.
the actual city we have today.
That's right. Where was I? The 1916.
You were at
Well, wow, exactly. Right next to that is 1916. A ban on the sale of alcoholic beverages goes into effect in Manitoba, Canada. To that.
Yeah.
In 1926.
It was a mistake. They got over it.
Yeah. The grand experiment. A noble experiment. During this month, in 1926, the first automatic pop-up toaster was introduced by Waters Genter Company of Minneapolis, Minnesota. In 1938, the first Superman comic is published. So he is what? 82?
80-something?
82, I think. That's quick math, and I'm surprised I got even that close. In 1951, on the 1st, is the International Cheese Treaty was signed. The International Convention on the Use and Designations of Origins and Names for Cheeses, like Roquefort cheese, can only be called Roquefort cheese if it's done in the caves at the foot of Mount whatever that was. And it can't be it could be exactly the same, but it can't be called Roquefort if it didn't come out of those caves. We'll talk more about that in a minute. On the 1st in 1993, Brooklyn began recycling, which I have mixed feelings about. I won't get into it. It's not political. It's environmental. I think it takes more energy and resources to recycle than it does to make new stuff. But, whatever. On the 2nd of June, it is National Rocky Road Day, which it has chocolate in it, right, Ray?
Oh, it sure does. And marshmallows and nuts, and it's good stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
On the 2nd, it's also Rotisserie Chicken Day, which originated by Boston Market in 2016. So that's a bit of a money grab, but whatever. Most of these holidays are money grabs, and that's okay.
Well, yeah.
On the 2nd, in 1851, Maine becomes the first state to ban alcohol. Again, to them.
They got over it.
Yeah. On the 2nd, in 1886, U.S. President Grover Cleveland married Frances Folsom, with the ceremony taking place in the White House. And Cleveland is the only president to be married in the White House. This was during his first term, because he is the only president also that served 2 non-consecutive terms. Let's see. 1970, on the 2nd, 8 species of whales were placed on the endangered species list. In 1977, New Jersey legalizes casino gambling in Atlantic City. In 2003, on the 2nd, the USDA declared that frozen batter-coated French fries are fresh vegetables. A federal judge upheld the rule in June 2004, declaring that the term fresh vegetables was ambiguous. In 1981, the USDA had unsuccessfully tried to classify ketchup and pickle relish as vegetables. The public protest caused them to drop the idea quickly.
I'm sorry, if it's frozen,
It's
not fresh.
And batter coated.
Yeah. How is that a fresh vegetable?
It's not. That's
not an ambiguous term.
No.
That's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I guess it does qualify as a vegetable because, potatoes are.
Yes. Yes.
Fresh? No.
Yeah.
No. Not if it's frozen.
That's stupid.
And battered, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's our federal government at work. In 2004, Robert Davies caught a 9-foot, 264-pound sturgeon in the Swansea Bay off the Welsh coast, and sturgeon are rarely seen in UK waters. The fish was eventually donated to the National History Museum in London.
That's bigger than I am.
Well, good.
I was like, not gonna touch that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big fish.
Yeah. If I was on the scale next to that fish, I would be the one on the ground.
If I were standing there, I'd be watching you on the ground.
Yeah. In 2009, food fight news, 5 students were arrested and taken away in handcuffs after a yogurt and taco salad food fight at a Portage, Wisconsin high school. Arrested.
The taco, okay, that's not that bad. But the yogurt, oh man, that's going to be nasty.
Yeah, and it's going to smell bad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They're just trying to get their culture on. Get it?
Oh.
All right, I gave it to you.
We'll call that a dad joke.
Well, I am one.
You do qualify.
Yeah, I do. On the 3rd, here you go, Ray. It's National Chocolate Macaroon Day.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
And
chocolate with anything? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And National Egg Day.
National Egg Day. Also have omelets and then some chocolate macaroons.
Well, I also, I like to think of it more like the Cadbury egg. I'll go with that. It's chocolate and Cadbury.
I like how you're thinking.
I was gonna say, weren't there some eggs in this chocolate cake that you got for your birthday? I'm sure.
Oh yes, absolutely. So that qualifies it as nutritional.
Exactly.
Good for us.
Exactly.
Eggs and some milk. It's great.
Protein.
I like how you
gotta have that.
On the 3rd, in 1539, Hernando de Soto claimed Florida for Spain. In 1970, on the 3rd, Ray Davies of the Kinks traveled round trip from New York to London to change 2 words in the song Lola. Do you know what 2 words were changed?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Well, because the BBC bans commercial, well, at the time anyway, bans commercial references in songs, he had to change Coca-Cola to Cherry Cola. Yeah.
COLA Cola.
Yes. In 1997, the USDA announced it will ban manufacturers from using most slaughtered animal parts in feed to farm animals. To protect the U.S. food supply from mad cow disease, the ban became effective late in August that same year, 97. The 4th is National Cheese Day. It's
that's one of your favorites.
Yes. To me, cheese is perfect food because there's so many different varieties, and I haven't met a variety yet that I don't at least like. I have some that I don't love, but I like almost everything that I've ever had, cheese-wise. It's National Cognac Day, which is also a favorite of mine. I have some Courvoisier in my cabinet. I might have a nip or 2 of that on, Thursday? Yeah.
Just to help celebrate, yeah.
And it's also National Moonshine Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some sources say that it's always on June 5th, but I'm going by what James Ehler is telling us, and that's the 4th. I'm not a fan necessarily of moonshine. I know there's a lot of quote unquote Carolina whiskey around here that they're calling it that, which is basically legal moonshine. But I'm not a big fan of that as much as I am the darker things like the rums and bourbons and things that.
Well, if you're going to get the shine, you better make sure you're getting it from somebody that actually knows how to make good shine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Not that I'm speaking from practical experience or anything.
Well, you're at least in an area that it's at least worth looking into.
Yeah. I grew up in the hills of East Tennessee, and I still remember a friend of mine was like, man, I got some good shine. You got to try some of this. You could have used it to peel paint off of anything or degrease your engine block.
Yeah.
It might actually have been good for that. One little sip, and I was tasting corn for 3 days, and my stomach was like, what did you just do to me?
Get out! Yeah, no, I just don't. I mean, I've had, the ones that people get, and then they put the apple and cinnamon and stuff in it, let it sit for a week, and then you have the apple pie moonshine and the peach one and the strawberries. I forget what fruit it was. I think it was strawberries. Was it? Cherries. Yeah. One year, the teachers at the school Stephanie taught at, we had a party, and was it me that brought someone else had a good
party.
Yeah. Because
you were the one getting the teachers drunk.
Well, yes. I mean, these were my son's teachers, and that's how I picked my teachers for him. If I could get drunk with them, I could let them teach my kid. But we had cherry moonshine, and Stephanie ate one of the cherries. A bunch of us did. Yeah. How was that? How did it turn out? I drove home, and if I'm driving home, she must have really been bad. Yeah.
Hanging out the window.
The host of the party went straight upstairs and passed out.
Oh my God.
That was my kid's teacher too. So
you can teach my kid all the way through high school.
Yeah. I went in the next day and said, how you feeling? Shut up. All right. So
too loud.
And this was 2 days later, because that was a Saturday, and we went in on a Monday. and she was still feeling it. So we get to that story of Roquefort cheese, right? So the 4th is National Cheese Day. In 1070 was the birth of Roquefort cheese. According to legend, a young shepherd left his rye bread and sheep's cheese in the cave of Combalou to pursue a shepherdess. He saw a lady running or walking across the field, so he ran to talk to her. Later, when he returned to the cave, he discovered his meal covered in a blue-green mold. He tasted the cheese and was delighted, and from that point on, Roquefort cheese was born. And I have to say that I love moldy cheese. Now, before we scoff at it, all cheese is old cheese.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I don't want to look at the mold.
Oh, no, I don't care. The bluer, the funkier, the better for me. I love it. Yeah.
No thanks.
No
thanks. You gotta wonder about the guys like, all my food's changed colors. Let me eat this.
That's why I say according to legend, because we don't know that that's really how that happened. But I would say most food discoveries were accidental. Cheese cheese itself, butter, all that stuff had to have been accidental. So on the 4th,
makes sense.
And it does, because I mean, you don't just, there it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me go take some cheese and leave it in this particular cave and see if that tastes any good.
Yes. In 1845, Hatch's sewing machine for wheat, not sowing, but sowing, like harvesting.
Putting it in the ground.
Yeah. Harvesting machine for wheat, oats, and other grasses was first demonstrated. In 1872, Robert Chesbrough of New York patented a method for making Vaseline. Okay.
Just leaving that one alone.
Yeah.
Of course, I hear
touching that one.
I hear Stone Temple Pilots in the back of my head as you're saying that.
Yes. African American inventor in 1895, Joseph Lee, and I believe we have mentioned him a lot on this show in the past, patented a machine for bread crumbling. It was intended for use by restaurants to crumb large quantities of bread scraps. And I guess that's where the, breadcrumbs came from.
Yep.
In 1907, the automatic washer and dryer were introduced. In 1912.
Big time saver there.
1912, Massachusetts becomes the first state to adopt the minimum wage law. In 1936, some people say 37, Sylvan Goldman ran a successful chain of grocery stores where customers could carry handbaskets while they shopped. In 1936, supposedly, when he was a major owner of the Piggly Wiggly supermarket chain, he invented the shopping cart. He got the idea from a wooden folding chair. He designed the cart by putting a basket on the seat, another below the wheels and on legs. And he and a mechanic anyway, Fred Young, put one together with a metal frame and wire baskets. The frames could be folded up and the baskets stacked, which took up less storage room. Customers were reluctant to use the new contraption, so Goldman hired fake shoppers to wheel the carts around pretending to shop so people could see how useful the cart was. And they became a hit from that point, and he formed a new company to manufacture those carts. And it's hard to imagine a supermarket or discount store without shopping carts today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting that he had to pay people just to keep walking around looking like they're shopping.
Yeah. Because I guess nobody figured, well, whatever. And they're like, well, look, I don't have to carry all this stuff around. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mother necessity right there.
Yeah.
In 1974, on this 4th, the Cleveland Indians were playing bad, and fewer fans came to watch them play. They had a 10-cent beer night to bring out the fans. Now, it says only 22,000 fans turned out, which...
That's a lot of people.
For today, 22,000 fans in a baseball game is a lot, but the stadium that they played in, and I don't believe that was... Well, it would have to be Jacobs Field at that point. could seat 60,000. They made up for the low numbers by becoming so drunk and unruly going on the field and disrupting the game that the Cleveland Indians had to forfeit the game to the Texas Rangers.
Insult to injury.
That's right. We were awful. I mean, they really didn't get much better until after the Major League movie came out. In 2003, Martha Stewart stepped down as the head of her media empire hours after being charged with conspiracy, security frauds, and more. In 2008, Folgers Coffee was acquired by J.M. Smucker Company from Procter & Gamble, and Smuckers still own Folgers today. And it is the largest pre-ground coffee in the United States. On the 5th, it is World Environment Day, not to be confused with Earth Day. The United Nations Day for encouraging worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment. Since it began in 1974, the event has grown to become a global platform for public outreach that is widely celebrated in over 100 countries. The 5th is also, and Stephanie probably glad she's not at Krispy Kreme, it's National Donut Day. She nods yes. It's Gingerbread Day and National Veggie Burger Day, created by Amy's Kitchen in 2016. To which I say, the heck with that. If you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you do not deserve to eat burgers. You can have flattened patties of stuff, but you cannot call them burgers. That is a meat product. And I will argue till the sun goes down for that.
Well, but let me just tell you that the best veggie burger is over at Finnegan's if, and only if, you put a couple slabs of bacon on it. That thing's beautiful because it's got a bunch of artichokes in it. And that's the way to eat a veggie burger.
And that used to be called Tim's Green Burger. And I'll give you 3 guesses to who the Tim it was named after. And the first 2 don't count.
I bet it was the man who ate the town, Tim.
It was. It was a joke too. but it stood there. You know, I did the 90-day club. So the first year I got, because I didn't do it just for 90 days because I can't just do that. I did it for more. Let's just say the first year that I did it, 366 days, because it was a leap year, I got this big, heavy rugby jersey that was embroidered with Trivia Tim on it, because I was also the trivia guy at Finnegan's, and the Claddagh from the symbol from Finnegan's, and on the back said 366 days in a Celtic script, and the Irish flag was woven into it. So I told Opie the next year, because yes, it was more than 1 year, more than 90 days, more than 1 year, that I didn't want him to spend money like that. He was going to change the menu anyway. I wanted a menu item. And because I was always telling him to leave the vegetables in the back, I got the veggie burger as my menu item.
That's classic.
Was it the one with the pepper jelly on it? Or
Yes.
was it
at the time, at the beginning, it was apricot chutney.
Okay.
It became other things along the way, and then for go ahead.
No, the one with the pepper jelly and then you put the bacon on it.
Yeah.
That combination right there.
Yeah.
Good.
What Caitlin, who used to be the co-host on the Less Desirables, used to say, because she would like the way that they made that, but want it with a real burger, she would call it, she wanted the Tim's Green Burger with extra Tim. Because it would be real meat. So it was funny. But to finish my story up here, for the 3rd year in a row that I went there, I was ready to end my tenure at 1,099 days in a row. Opie actually paid for Stephanie and me to go to the beach so I could break my streak.
Nice.
Yeah. So Stephanie and I met at Finnegan's. We grew together at Finnegan's. We did a lot of things at Finnegan's. So Finnegan's has a special place in our hearts.
Yeah.
So, and because we met on a Tuesday at Finnegan's because it was trivia night, when we got married in September of 2014, we got married on a Tuesday.
Aw.
Nice.
Because we're romantic and stuff. Where was I on this World Environment Day? Yes. The last thing for the actual holidays, just something to note. If it rains on the 5th of June, it means that the blackberries will be small and full of seeds whenever they grow in.
Let's hope we don't get rain on that day.
Let's hope not. On the 5th, in 1856, the first vegetarian community was established in Kansas. Just like Prohibition, I say to that. On that day in 1876, foil wrapped bananas are sold for $0.10 at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. Bananas become a popular treat for the first time in the United States when word spreads about how delicious they were.
Why were they foil wrapped? Am I missing something?
I think because they were so new, they didn't know that you could just leave them out. They were just doing that, and
I'll say if you unwrap them from the skin, you better put them in something.
Yeah. And what's it called? The place that has that we get the pears from? Harry and David. They always have that one that's foil wrapped of whatever you buy from them. So, in 1877, on the 5th, New York taxed oleomargarine to protect the dairy industry. And margarine stayed around, and luckily that's out of fashion so much now, but whatever. In 1883, Horlicks developed the process to dehydrate milk and patented it in 1883, calling it malted milk. Horlicks originally produced a food for babies and invalids that could be shipped without spoiling.
Mm-hmm.
I guess unless you were invalid or a baby, you couldn't eat it. I don't know why I just said that, but who knows? In 1977, the Apple II, the first personal computer, went on sale.
Oh.
Remember that?
Yeah. We had them in school. I remember that. None of us knew how to use it because nobody knew how to use it. In 2008, U.S. antitrust regulators approved the joint venture between SAB Miller and Molson Coors, and Miller Coors began operation as a combined entity on July 1st, a month later, that year. And it's just, I don't like the big conglomerate beer companies. I mean, I'm not saying I won't drink the beers as long as it's not the cheapo American crap like Budweiser and Coors and all that stuff. I will drink a Miller High Life and smile about it. That's about as far as my domestic crap macro brew goes. On the 6th of June, it's National Applesauce Day. I'm sorry, National Applesauce Cake Day.
Oh.
I don't know that I've ever had an applesauce cake.
Yeah,
Stephanie's not reacting, so I don't think I've had one here. It's also Drive-In Theater Day.
Oh, cool.
I really wish we had those still. I mean, to an abundance. There are a couple that are lingering, but I wish we had that available. I might go to the movies if that was the case. In 1833, on the 6th, Andrew Jackson became the first U.S. president to ride in a railroad car. He boarded a B&O in Baltimore, and I don't know where he went to, but he got it on it in Baltimore. In 1882, Harry Seeley of New York City received the first American patent for an electric iron. In 1899, American inventor James Ricks was issued a patent for rubber overshoe for horses for use in sleety weather. I don't think those went over well.
I was going to say, I don't know that I've ever seen horses wearing galoshes.
Yeah, me either. Look who's got the footies, says one horse. In 1907, Persil, world's first self-acting household detergent, Jesus, was marketed by Henkel, a C of Dusseldorf. It was a combination of a washing and bleaching agent in one powder. The name comes from perborate and silicate, so Persil. In 1916, on the 6th, Kraft and Brothers, okay, received patent for process of sterilizing cheese and an improved product produced for such process, or to put it more clearly, that I didn't do here, but they didn't either, is processed cheese. So this is the stuff that our friend Kevin Heath stays far away from, because processed cheese food is not food.
Or cheese.
Or cheese. In 1932, the Revenue Act creates the first gasoline tax in the United States of 1 cent per gallon. In 1988, 3 50-pound snapping turtles were found in a Bronx, New York sewage treatment plant. They had previously been pets that were flushed down the toilet when they were very small. No word where the fourth turtle was, and if there was a talking rat with them.
Well, one of them was out getting pizza.
Yeah, it had to be.
Right.
He come back, where y'all at, dudes?
It was probably the rat driving the car.
Yeah.
So that would explain why we only found 3.
That's true. In 2000, Unilever, which is in the Netherlands, agreed to buy Best Foods from the United States for $20.3 billion, creating the world's largest food company. Best Foods brand included Skippy peanut butter and Hellmann's mayonnaise. Unilever brands at the time included Lipton, or still does, Lipton tea, Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and Dove soap, and many, many other things. If you look at everything that Unilever owns, about half of, or at least a third of what's in your pantry is owned by them. On the 7th, it's National Chocolate Ice Cream Day.
2 days of chocolate in this week.
Woo! Well, if you count Rocky Road, it's 3.
Let's count it. Make it 3.
All right. It's also World Food Safety Day. In 1867, at the Café Anglais, Chef Adolphe Duglair served the famous Dinner of the Three Emperors for Tsar Alexander II of Russia. His son later becomes Tsar Alexander III, and King William I of Prussia. The table service used for the dinner is still on display at the oldest existing restaurant in Paris, La Tour d'Argent, which we have talked about ad nauseum on this show. In 1921, the Minnesota Cooperative Creameries Association is formed. It is now known as Land O'Lakes. And as we learned in April, they have done away with the Native American girl on the packaging. The Native American people are happy, and other people are complaining for whatever reason. In 1939, grapefruit-sized hail kills hundreds of farm animals in Rock County, Minnesota.
That's a big piece of hail.
Yes, it is. And it had to have been a lot of it, because it kills hundreds of farm animals. It wasn't just one. In 1989, on the 7th for 1 second on that day, the time was 0123456789. At 1:23 and 45 seconds in the morning on June 7th, 1989. 0123456789. In 1990, on that day, France, West Germany, and Italy lift a ban on British beef on the bone imports. Beef on the bone can now be exported from any mad cow disease-free farm in Britain. And that's your food, history, and holidays for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, and if he didn't have enough chocolate, get Ray really excited about even more chocolate.
Yep. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax Vinyl and More, Sipping NC, and Wheeler's Dog. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on the network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links for each one there as well. We'd greatly appreciate if you visit our sponsors like Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. This is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously, and for us, having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel certainly does not suck. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on carrabbas.com. And go check out the new lay of the land over there. Of course, everything, they have to social distance, and every other booth is blocked off, so you can't sit there. But it's still cozy, even though it's spacious. Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You can find a little bit of everything at the Perk: a chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, local fruits and veggies, meat and dairy from local sources, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's custard, a wall of beer and wine, and more. Washington Perk is better than the convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk, and on Instagram, they are at Washington Perk _DTWS. The Humble Bee Shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. You've not had good until you've tasted the sweets and goodies at Brittany is whipping up in her shop, be it muffins, cake, macarons, and more. Many things vegan and gluten-free as well. The Humble Bee Shop wants to challenge your perception of scratch made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit thehumblebeeshopapa.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
This is a reminder to all the listeners, and it's just good practice, not just for now, but always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for about 20 seconds or more. Sing Country Roads, Take Me Home, or Rocky Top, since Ray's from the Tennessee area or grew up in Tennessee, or through the first verse of Stairway to Heaven. Just whatever you got to do, just wash your hands. Keep your eye.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we all want to hear you singing the first few verses of Stairway to Heaven.
No.
Oh.
No stairway, right?
Right. I mean, you're welcome to hum it to yourself, but I don't know that I want to hear it. Some of these people,
yeah, they
can't sing the wheels on the bus and stay in key. Forget the Stairway.
All right. So keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email, tim@themanwhoatetown.com, or Leah@themanwhoatetown.com, or Ray@themanwhoatetown.com. One thing in that server migration, I fixed the mail problem, and we all now have email addresses. You can also contact us at Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter via their instant messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man_Who_8TheTown. On Instagram, we are Man_Who_8TheTown. And now we invite you to call and leave a voicemail on the podcast. Actually, any podcast on the TLD network. You can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422 Numb. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUMB or 6862. Wow, that was a lot of stuff today, but we got it in. We got it in pretty quick. I'm hoping to find an interview for next week's show. I don't know who that is yet, but I have a couple of people that I'm going to ask, so we'll see how that goes. But until then, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
I'm Leah.
And we're closing the recipe box.
Wow. Actual sound.
That's a big box.
That is a huge box. It's a whole lot bigger closing it than it was opening it. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.